Everybody. And guys, I got to tell you, change is hard. You can go all the way back to Sir Isaac Newton on this one. You know, Newton's theory of inertia, a body at rest tends to stay at rest. Or as we like to say here in modern times, it's a lot easier to talk about it than to be about it. This is particularly true in the NBA. Think about how many Octobers you've heard the Knicks tell us that this year things are going to be different. Or how many seasons in a row the Clippers have thought, this is the year we're finally going to stay healthy and make a run. Most of the time, that talk ends up being just talk. Newton's law holds. That's why what James Harden and the Rockets are doing this season is such a big deal. It's not just that Harden has been stuffing the stat sheet more than a Christmas goose or that the Rockets are absurdly fun to watch. It's that this is a complete 180-degree turnaround from the 1-2-3 Cancun team that we saw last season. Take last night's game against the Cavaliers. I'm saying a good thing here. The Rockets were down to the defending champs by 14 points at 2 separate times. And I promise you, last year's Houston squad would have folded so fast, some of the players might have actually tried to get home in time to catch The Walking Dead. This year's team, though, they fought. Here's a stat for you. The Rockets outscored the Cavs 15-7 in second chance points. And here's another stat in the I give a crap category, turnovers. Houston had just 6 compared to Cleveland's 15. Patrick Beverley in particular was a Rottweiler, fighting for loose balls, sparring on defense, and then sinking that dagger three-pointer. You hear a little yell, how do you like me now, as it came down the court after that one. Now, the Cavaliers were on the second night of a travel back-to-back. I'm not ready to declare the Rockets title favorites after this game. But the truth is, last night wasn't a measuring stick game for Houston because they beat the defending champs. It was a measuring stick game because they showed just how far they've come from the old version of themselves. In Houston, apparently, Newton's law can shove it. Byron, who do you credit for this turnaround? Because it is so distinct.
Daryl, the GM of the Houston Rockets. And for 2 reasons. Number one, he had the smarts to understand that, listen, I'm going to hire Mike D'Antoni. You know, that's number one. And number two, he was smart enough to understand that Dwight Howard, if you eliminate him from this situation and the way that this team wasn't getting together, you know, they didn't have a lot of love for each other. You know, James Harden and him didn't have a lot of love. The chemistry is such a big part of being successful in this league. And that subtraction has made them a much better basketball team. Those 2 things that he did, he's the one, to me, is the biggest reason that this Rocket team is as good as it is this year.
He definitely deserves credit. Credit goes to Mike D'Antoni for putting a system that these players were perfect to play in. But as I was telling Steve, our producer, Mike could have the perfect system. It doesn't work unless the players buy in.
Absolutely.
And what James Harden did
Well, to me. See, Harden to me is he's
bought
the engine.
in. And when you say bought in, because he was averaging a lot of assists last year as well. People say, what's the difference? The difference is he's doing things quicker now. Everything is quick decision. No more ball stopping. No more holding and waiting and evaluating. Everything is quick on the move. Whether it's a shot or a pass, he's making his decisions a lot faster. And that's making everyone feel more involved, more energetic. And now we're playing better basketball on the offensive end. And guess what's happened, Rachel? They're also playing better defense.
Much better.
Since January 1st.
I mean, the bar was low.
Since January 1st, the top 10 defense in the league. They're 15th, I think, on the season. Top 10 in the league right now since January 1st. They're doing it all. So who does the credit go to? The GM for making those decisions, the coach for putting the system in, the player for buying into the system. But I think all of them have a...
I like how you really think it's James Harden, but you had to say Mike D'Antoni's name first because he's your guy. We noticed that. That's cute.
but Rachel, I'll say 2 things. One, people thought the Rockets were already a good offensive team. Why would you need to get Mike D'Antoni? You see the difference. And 2, people love to go, he's not a defensive coach. What does that mean? Unless you have defensive players, coach, you know this. Without talent, can I get results without talent?
No, you can't. And I don't care. You know, everybody puts everybody in a box.
Yeah.
You know, and they put Mike in a box as far as just being a great offensive-minded coach. But you don't win on this league by just being a great offensive-minded coach. You have to have some semblance of how to play the game of defense in order to win on a consistent basis. That's what the Rockets have right now. And like, you know, Amir said, when you get James Harden to buy in, it just trickles down to everybody else.
Everyone else follows.
And now everybody's happy. They're playing together, and they're doing it on both ends of the floor. That's why Houston right now is probably the most dangerous team in the Western Conference.
Oh, those are fighting words.
You know me.
I mean, I give Harden credit particularly for the mental change. I do not think it is easy to sit down and look in the mirror. And as I said at the top of the show, we hear this from NBA players a lot. I really mean it. It's going to be different this time. But the truth is that a lot of guys have a bunch of yes men around them telling them it's everybody else's fault but their own. James sat down and said, it was partly me last year. He said it into television cameras. He said it for everyone to hear. He said, I am going to be different. And then he backed it up. I give so much credit to that. Everybody makes mistakes. If you're going to be accountable for yourself and then go fix it, that's huge in my book.
He's
That's
a fellow
big time.
Sun Devil, too.
There you go.
Oh, boy. We will get to that later in the show.